Hello, welcome back. So now in this part, we will discuss about the design of stair slab spanning longitudinally. So earlier in the previous part, we have designed stair slab spanning transversely. Now we will be designing slab which is spanning longitudinally. Well, it also have a different category. It may be stairs with waist slab or tread riser slab or isolated steps. So we will be contained with the design of stairs with waist slab only. Similarly, in transverse also we have designed staircase with the waist slab, and for longitudinally spanning, we will be designing the same category. So in the stairs with waist slab, we designed waist slab and steps. So here also the slab is designed as a simply supported slab. So we designed this stair slab as a simply supported slab, and the thickness of waist slab in this case, in case of longitudinally spanning slab, as it thumb rule, we take thickness of slab as about L by 20 to L by 25. For simply supported, we take L by 22, and for continuous end condition, we take L by 25, like this case. If support is here, in that case, we take L by 22, and if the support is simply supported, we take L by 20. Similarly, if the support is here and one support is here, in that case, we will take depth as L by 25, because you can see this is continuous to the landing. So this is how we can take the value of thickness. So now we will also see how reinforcement is provided in case of longitudinally spanning staircase. Well, the reinforcement detailing of transversely supported staircase is different, and for longitudinally spanning it is different. So I will be showing you the reinforcement detailing first, and then we will take an example to solve, to design the staircase spanning longitudinally. So first I will show you the reinforcement detail of. So here in this case you can see this is the staircase reinforcement detailing for a dog leg staircase supported at the ends of landing. So here when support is at the end, here you can see these are the support point. So in that case, we provide mainly two types of reinforcement. One is the main reinforcement, which is running along the length of flight with this one. And as you can see, these dots are basically the distribution reinforcement, which are providing parallel to the steps. Also at the junction care is taken, because there are chances that negative bending moment may develop at these junction. So therefore we provide some extra reinforcement also. Okay, so here in this case you can see this reinforcement is not bended like this. It is actually extended till the top layer of the landing and then bent up. Well, this practice is done because, as written here also in correct detailing, if we provide reinforcement directly like this, if we bend reinforce, if a reinforcement is coming like this and then directly bend like this, in that case what is happening at this point, negative bending may develop and this bar may try to straighten up. So in that case, uh, a major cracking may occur at this point. So to avoid that, what we do is we extend the reinforcement to the top layer and then uh, bend this. So that is the practice that we generally follow in case of longitudinally spanning staircase. So here again, we provide only two main reinforcement. One is the main reinforcement and the second one is the distribution reinforcement. And beside this, we provide some extra reinforcement at the junction here also, and here also, and here also, to resist against the development of negative bending moment. So this is the case where we provide support at the ends. Also, if you see the details of the steps, if we provide reinforcement in the, if we provide concrete steps, in that sometimes we provide some extra reinforcement also in the form of simple links. So these are basically the reinforcement simple links, and one distributing bar is provided along the edge, or along the along the edge of the tread, and this reinforcement is generally provided to resist or to save the nosing. And this is the detailing for the brick steps. If we provide brick steps, then this reinforcement slab, stair slab is different, and the steps are of brick masonry. So in case of load calculation, we multiply with the density of brick. In case of steps load calculation, and we multiply density of RCC in case of load calculation of stair slab. So that is one case. Now talking about the next case, where support may be at the bottom of bottom of flight and at the top of flight. So these dark arrow, they are actually showing representing the support point. So these are basically the support point. So in this case, negative bending moment will develop, and therefore we provide extra reinforcement. So here in the previous case, you can see we are providing some extra reinforcement, but beside this also we provide some more extra reinforcement to resist against the negative bending moment. So there, because of the presence of this support, negative bending moment will surely develop at this junction and at this junction. So therefore we provide some extra reinforcement to resist against this negative bending moment. So now we will take an example to understand how longitudinally spanning staircase are designed. So in case of longitudinally spanning staircase, we will be designing dog leg staircase. So this is the problem in which some data is given. So we have to design a vase slab type dog leg staircase for a building with the given data. Height between the floors is 3 meters, it is given, and the riser that we are going to use will be of 150 mm, and the tread will be 250 mm. And width of flight and landing width will be same, which is 1.25 meter. And imposed load, this imposed load is basically the live load. So live load is given, which is 4 kilonewton per meter square, and floor finishing is also given, which is 0.6 kilonewton per meter square. Now we have to assume that stair is supported on 230 mm wide beams at the outer edges, which means if staircase is like this, then beams are here and here. So outer edges of the landing parallel to the riser. Yes, and we have to use M20 grade of concrete and Fe415 steel, and also assuming the mild exposure. So this mild exposure is mentioned to assume the value of cover. When we provide cover, we need to assume the exposure condition if it is not given in the question. So it is already mentioned in the question, we will be finding the value of cover for mild exposure. So first we will see the figure that is being provided with this problem. So this is the flight and landing. So this whole staircase is supported at this end and at this end. And in the plan, if we see, beams are parallel to the steps. Here also beams are provided here. Also, the width of landing is already given, which is provided here. And right now we don't know what is the height that we will calculate to get the number of risers. So now our first step is to find out the design constants. So again, the steps is same. So I am going first. So now in the next step, we will have general arrangement. So in this, we will see how many risers will be there, how many treads will be there. Based on that tread, we will be finding the length of flight in horizontal plane and height in vertical plane. So first of all, we will find out the height of flight, because you know the floor to floor height is given, which is 3 meter, and therefore uh, a staircase which is there, it will something look like this. So we have to find out one height of, I mean height of one flight. So in the floor there will be two flight, because we are designing dog leg staircase. So one flight is this one and one flight is this one. So both are identical and therefore their height will be same. So this height will be half of this floor to floor height, which is 1.5 meter. Now this vertical height will be divided into riser. So you can see this value is riser. So with this, we can find out the number of riser, because we already know the value of riser as 0.15 meter, which is already given in the question as 150 mm. So number of riser can be calculated with this, which is 10. So 1.5 meter is the height of flight divided by the riser value, and total number of riser is 10. And generally the number of tread is less than, I mean one less than the number of riser. So if riser is 10, then the tread will be 10 minus 1. So this is the number of tread. And now we will find out what will be the length of tread which will be occupied there. Well, what I am talking about is this one. As you see, this is the tread. So what will be this length? So this length will be equals to number of tread multiplied by the value of one tread. So number of tread is 9 multiplied by the value of one tread is 250. So ultimately it will be 2250 mm. So that is the value of length occupied by the tread. Width of landing is already given, which is 1.25 meter, which we have seen in the plan also. And effective span, yes, effective span is to be calculated, which will be center to center of distance between the supports. And this is what we have seen in the previous part also. So effective span will be center to center distance between the support. So basically our, sorry, our step will be something like this. So we have to find out this whole distance. So there will be our beam, which is having value 230 mm, and this value is already given, which is 1.25 meter, and this value we have just calculated as 2250, and this value is also same, which is 1.25 meter, and there will also be beam. So center to this value plus this value plus this value plus this value plus half of this value. So all these things will be included while calculating the value of effective span. So that is what I have taken. Length occupied by the tread and length of landing, and centered half of one support and half of the other support. So the total length becomes 4980, and the same I have shown in the plan also here. So here you can see this is the length occupied by the slab, sorry, the tread, and the length of landing here also same, and the center of the support from this end and from this end. So the total length of effective span is 4980. Now length of span is calculated. Now in the next step we will find out the thickness of the stair slab. So that we will calculate in the next part. Thank you.